All right, guys, welcome to PHIT App's first Phil Heath webinar. Today we'll be kicking off the first of our Phil Heath Webinar Series. My name is Jeff, and I will be your host and moderator behind the scenes today. If at any point you have any technical issues, shoot us an email at support@phitnow.com. Again, that is support@phitnow.com. And I will do my best to keep an eye out on any emails that might be coming in, and I will get your situation fixed as soon as possible. For our webinar today, Phil will be spending about 10 to 15 minutes on 3 different topics. We have been collecting all of your feedback from the registration forms and have put together a list of the top 3 requests. Today's topics will be how Phil deals with negativity, what bodybuilding has done for Phil emotionally, and the third topic will be how we can all stay in shape during COVID, which is something we can all relate to. And additionally, on top of that, what we can do for dieting during this time. Now, at the end of each topic, we will open up the webinar for topic-related Q&A. So during the webinar, feel free to submit your questions at any point in the questions form at the bottom of your screen. We will do our best to accommodate as many questions as we can. Also, at the very end, if we still have time, we will try opening it up for an open-ended Q&A. We're glad you can all be on with us today. And with that said, I will pass it over to Phil for our first question. Phil, how do you deal with negativity?
Thanks. First of all, I just want to say thank you all for watching, joining in with us. Really excited. How I deal with negativity? Well, much differently than I did growing up. But I would say I usually try to check the source of where the negativity is coming from. Then critically asking myself, is this more criticism, or is this just trash? One thing I try to do is remind myself of who I am, what I've gone through to get to this point in life, the different whys in the road that have gotten me to this point, the lessons that were learned throughout that journey, and realize that majority of the time when I see negativity or I hear it, it's usually to provide a negative, distorted image of who I am. And that sometimes can be very troublesome because you're thinking, gosh, like, why doesn't someone understand me? But usually it's just maybe coming from a source where that individual or individuals or groups are dealing with their own insecurities and they're trying to dispel that trash onto you. I always tell myself to pretty much guard myself from that. And that's where you have to have, I believe, a good nucleus of support, whether it be your family or friends, people who you can trust to bounce this off of. But I do feel, especially during this period of time, is that learning about who you are, who you truly want to be, will enable you those skills for when those negative voices start coming into your head, or those images about you. Because let's face it, I mean, for me, I can get hit with a ton of different negativity being a champion bodybuilder, right? I'm basically choosing to be adjudicated on the stage, barely wearing any clothing. So I have to remind myself, this is the game that I signed up for, and I'm going to be judged. But how I internalize that, how I digest that, is really up to me. If I love myself enough, I can always stay true to who I am, and to realize that it's what I believe I am. I define myself, not everybody else. And that's always going to be difficult, especially in this era of social media. Everybody's got an opinion, and they can be good, bad, and ugly. So my suggestion to everybody is to learn about who you are. If you don't like who you are, ask yourself, well, what can you do to alleviate, stress from when someone says something negative to you? I can always remember stories of growing up. I was growing up as an only child, so I didn't have like a big brother or big sister to go fight my battles if someone picked on me or something like that. And really, I had to ask myself, like, do they really know me? And the answer was really no. So don't take it to heart, people. Situations are going to happen. I've always said curveballs can be hit. Always stay positive. especially during this time. We're all being challenged in some way with negativity, whether it be financial or emotional, mental stress. But it's also a proving ground for your own personal best to get to that next level. So when negativity comes, look at it as an opportunity to get better.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Phil. Any questions related to negativity, folks? So we got one question coming in from Martin. Phil, Martin, we're gonna let you answer this now. Phil, how do I overcome my fear of getting bigger?
How do I overcome my fear of getting bigger?
This is from Martin.
Well, Martin, this is a very interesting question because I always wanted to get bigger. So fear is all in here. I mean, when you say getting bigger, is it because of what you believe other people, how they're going to view you, judge you, think negatively about you? Because I know in my experience, when I stopped playing Division I basketball and I wanted to become a bodybuilder, I was still going through my final year of college. And I remember getting in the gym, doing all the workouts and eating like crazy, and hearing especially females say, gosh, like, do you really want to, why would you want to look like that? Why would you want to, do that? And I'm thinking, well, it's because it's my life, right? Like I just want to get better. So I didn't fear of getting bigger. I think the only fear that I had was potentially not being able to fit my own clothes. So I hope that answers your question. I think that when you have this fear of getting bigger, hopefully it's getting better as well. And I think that with bodybuilding, yes, getting bigger is part of it, but also getting better at your training, getting better at how you handle, being organized with your diet and your training, and really just dispelling like all the myths of like people not caring about what you do. There's a lot of people that, probably do have body dysmorphia. Like, oh, wow, like I don't necessarily want to get too big because of what people may think. Well, if you love it, do it. If you don't, then change it.
Awesome. Thanks, Phil. So still waiting for any other questions? All right. So we'll move on to the next topic. Phil, what has bodybuilding done for you emotionally?
Bodybuilding has done for me emotionally so bodybuilding allowed me to see myself in a way that I don't believe any other sport can. And that's because it requires not just a level of mental fortitude to be able to get up and do the diet, the training, but looking at yourself in the mirror and being very critical about every little muscle fiber that you have. I didn't wake up like this. I had a goal and I stuck to it for many workouts, many weeks, months, and years. But I would say bodybuilding's taught me a lot of lessons regarding how to handle myself in victory and also defeat. It's much different than when I was playing basketball because it's more of a team sport. And you could score 0 points and still help your team win. Whereas in bodybuilding, it really is up to you. Like you could have a coach and you could have your girlfriend, wife, all your friends, your fans, but you have to decide if this is what you want. And emotionally, that can get exhausting. And I would say being a professional bodybuilder, it can become very exhausting because it now becomes a business and you have obligations with sponsors and also to your fans. I mean, you have plenty of people that you don't necessarily know individually, but your messages are being shared around the world. And you're a beacon of light for people that, like I said, that you may not ever come in contact with. So that can sometimes get to you because you may happen to go gosh, I could do these videos every day. I could do training every day. I could fly around. I've flown probably over the last 10 years, close to 3 million miles to meet fans and stuff. But the hardest part is being passionately present with those people while you're going through general life and hardships. So I feel like bodybuilding strengthened me to become more mentally tough, emotionally aware of my surroundings. I mean, about 6 years ago, about 6 years ago, my dad had passed, and I was actually at an appearance, and I was on stage, I was posing, got the phone call right after, and I still had about 50 people, maybe a little bit more, waiting for me at a VIP dinner. And I had to emotionally gather myself to be able to make it about them. Now, people say, well, you know, you're human, this and that, but bodybuilding taught me to be stronger and to not just think about myself, even though bodybuilding is a very selfish sport. So it taught me how to be strong and to, you know, harness my energy more than I ever could imagine with any other sport. And it allowed me to channel my frustrations, even my fears, and apply it to those dumbbells, those barbells, those machines, that cardio, to become a sense of therapy. So emotionally, I was always able to be stable. So, and I know a lot of people right now are missing their gyms, and that's why they're going outside and going for runs, because emotionally they need to feel those endorphins. So bodybuilding definitely did that for me.
All right. Any questions related to Phil and how bodybuilding has helped him emotionally? Please submit those now. In terms of motivation, Phil, Felix wants to know, and obviously this relates a lot to, you know, dealing with your emotions. How can you always stay motivated, or how can he always stay motivated?
I feel a great way of staying motivated is to remember that first time that you did something that felt really good. So for instance, for me, I still can resort back to winning my first bodybuilding show and how that felt to me, a sense of accomplishment and achievement, knowing that I sacrificed quite a bit at the time. So therefore, when it was time to get ready for the next run, I could say, you know what, I know what it feels like to win. I know what it feels like to have a great workout. I want to replicate that process. I want to go find that feeling once more. So anytime where I'm feeling down, it's like, remember when it felt really good? Remember it felt really awesome to get that A grade on a paper, to get that job, to meet your spouse, how it felt to just feel a sense of victory, because we've all had it. Everyone has experienced something special. I truly believe that. Try to remember that moment. What did it make you feel like? The first promotion you got at work, the first time that your parents said, "Job well done," even if that didn't happen often. Those are the things that I fall back on. Like, even for me, staying motivated. You know, you guys, the fans, like, there's been times where I'm like, gosh, like, life is getting to me. And I have to remember, like, Phil, like, you've gone through so many other avenues in life. Remember what it felt like to get that win. Don't you want to win again? And I think right now is a great time for us to seek victory worldwide. We're dealing with a pandemic, and we have to either lie down and take it, or fight and be confident and truly appreciate the life that we do have. And it's up to us to what we create at this point. So I do feel that you can watch videos of myself or whoever, but it does start with you. I do feel like if you were to take